Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to share with you how to dial in a new coffee grinder with your existing espresso machine. The objective, of course, is to make it happen without wasting a lot of coffee beans. Many baristas would probably agree with me, this is one of the most difficult parts to do, and especially if you have to keep changing your coffee beans, you have to keep changing the program or the setting on your grinder to fit with your espresso machine. Here are the tips that I would share with you. First, you have to look at your grinder. When you get your grinder, you test the grind sizes, just like what I did in the first part of this series. I started with grind size 8, which is good for my French press and also for my coffee percolator or my drip coffee. On grind size 8, I noticed that the grind size is not as coarse as I would like it to be, so probably the next time around I'm going to set it to 10. Grind size number 4, I used my sense of touch, which is using my thumb and my forefinger to feel the texture of my ground coffee. From what I could see, it's enough for my mocha pot. It is like a medium grind coffee. So I would probably use grind size 4 for my mocha pot. Then I went down to grind size 3. The consistency of grind size 3 came up to about that of table salt. Now that probably is good enough for my espresso. Maybe, I'll never know until I give it a try. And then I went down to grind size 2. Now grind size 2 I find is quite fine. That means from those 4 settings, I could tell that this coffee grinder is capable of grinding my coffee beans to the smallest particle. That is established. The second factor that you have to consider is your espresso machine. Again, from experience, budget to medium price espresso machines need coarser ground coffee. It doesn't process fine grind coffee because the pressure is not strong enough, unlike those of more premium espresso machines. And the final factor that you have to consider is the roast level of your coffee beans. Typically, lighter roast would need to be ground fine and darker roast would be a little bit coarser. Now that we kind of know our grinder, it is time to test it with our espresso machine. Now, what is the target here? To get those perfect shots. Now, what is a perfect shot? If you're pulling a single shot of espresso 30 grams, then you have to pull that shot within 25 to 29 seconds. If you're pulling a double shot, my preference would be to pull that within 25 to 35 seconds. My target to complete the calibration is to use 60 grams of coffee beans. Now, why 60 grams? Because my preference will be to program my 1 cup to 18 grams of coffee beans or double shot of espresso. In the rare event that I would pull a single shot of espresso, what I would do is to still get 18 grams of coffee beans from my grinder and pull double shot of espresso split into 2 cups. For my 2 cup setting, I prefer to use 20 grams of ground coffee, and this is because I would like to make triple shot of espresso for when I have to make those larger cups of iced coffee, 20 to 22 ounces. I am aiming to get the perfect shot within 3 tries, 3 double shots of espresso. So that would not be 60 grams, so you will have 6 grams left, and that is used for throwing away the retention each time you change the grind setting. First, make sure that there is nothing in your bars, okay? So I'm going to make sure everything is out of there. Let me get my cloth. I have already set my grinder. Okay, so I'm going to press infinity and make sure there's nothing there. So it's absolutely nothing in the bars, nothing in the hopper. So I'm going to start fresh. Okay, so here, my 60 grams of coffee beans, put them all in the hopper there. And then I'm going to pull the door to let all the beans drop into the bars. And now I'm going to start with setting number 3. Okay, setting number 3 should be a little bit on the coarse side. Okay, coarse. Setting 3. And now I have already set my grinder to 5.5 seconds. I'm going to start with 5.5 seconds and find out how many grams of coffee beans I'll be getting within 5.5 seconds. My counter is saying 7 1 cup and 1 2 cups. I'm going to reset this so that there's 0, starting from 0, and to reset, just press 3 of these buttons at the same time. And now 1 is 0 0 0, all 0, so we're starting from fresh. Okay, now I'm going to use the scale to make sure that I have nothing in there. Okay, so press it here and I'm going to weigh this, tare, and find out how many grams of coffee beans I will get from 5.5 seconds at setting number 3. Okay, now I always turn it off immediately after, and let's see how much is this. So this is 12.1. That's a little bit odd. So what I need now is to add a little bit more here. So this time I'm going to use infinity. Just get a little bit out. Okay, let's see how much is this. Put it back on the scale, and this is 16, so I need a little bit more. Just be very careful. Okay, and now let's see if this is 17.5, a little bit more, and this will be over. Okay, 19.4. So I'm going to take it out and then leave it to 18 grams. Okay, so that's 18 grams of coffee beans there. So I've already wasted about 1 gram of ground coffee. Okay, so use your distribution tool, OCD, that's excess there, make sure it's clean, tamp lightly, give it a spin, that's what I normally do, make sure the ears and the sides of your portafilter is clean, and now we're going to give it a shot, literally. Okay. I'm going to use the scale just to be sure I get it right. Okay. So here's my cup. Okay. Tare. Set the timer and press 2 shots. It's 20 seconds for my double shot of espresso. That is a little bit too fast. I'm going to just dump it in here. The puck is looking good, not too bad. It is solid, it is compact, and so I'm quite happy with that. But then now, what we need to do is to reduce the grind settings from 3. I'm going to go down to about, not too much because we're on 20. We want to be about 25, 30. So I'm going to set it to a little bit finer. So I'm going to make it about 2.6 there. And for this, I'm going to just get a little bit of the coffee on infinity, take out some. Okay. And this one is because you need to make sure that the grind size is changed to the new setting. Okay. I'm going to use my single cup again. And then, okay, let's measure this. Tare. And then I'm going to use the same timing here. It's 5.5 seconds. This is really very, very unpredictable. So I just want to bring it up to 18. OCD temp. Okay, now I'm going to try this. This is a new grind setting. Use my scale. Tare. Set the time and pull. Now that is looking very good indeed. So that was about 33 seconds for my double shot of espresso. Beautiful. And that is only my second try. You have the base of the coffee, you have the body, and the beautiful crema on top. So there you go. I have made it within 2 tries. Okay, now what do you know? Within 2 tries, I was able to get my perfect shot. Now that only comes with experience, it's not all the time. But what did you notice here is that sometimes, even though I have already set the time of my grinder to grind within 5.5 seconds, it's still not exactly 20 grams. So I'm going to try it again. This time I am going to make my real cup of coffee. So I'm going to make a full cycle, and then we're going to check how many grams we get out of here and whether it is correct. This is just to double check everything is okay, because once you've done this, it is perfectly fine to use exactly what's in your program and make a lot of coffee for the day. Okay, so now I'm going to grind it again. So there we go. That's okay. Now 1 cup and grind. So this is the moment of truth. OCD. 10. Tear at the time, press. And I must say it is looking rather good from where I stand here. There you go. What do you know? I made the calibration so much faster than I expected. Mind you, it's not always the case. This time, it was just a little bit because I knew that the grind size that I tested for yesterday's setting was fine enough for me to use for my espresso machine. So when I started with 3, and the time it took to pull this double shot of espresso was about 20 seconds. I knew it was too fast. So automatically I would know that I need to make it finer. What I did was to go from grind setting 3 to grind setting 2.8, and I came up with this perfect double shot of espresso. Now I didn't really taste the espresso to find out what it tastes like. Now that's what I'm going to do. I just mix it a little bit and then try this espresso, whether it gives me that good taste for my perfect shots. This gives me exactly the taste notes of my coffee. It's medium roast, medium to dark roast, so it's nutty, it's like brown sugar taste, and it is absolutely full body. I love the taste of this one. And actually, I did make a latte out of it. And to try this, very smooth. So there you go, that's how I would dial in my coffee grinder. So always start with coarser, especially if you are using a budget to medium price espresso machine. And then if it's too fast, so what you need to do is to go a little bit finer until you get those perfect double espresso shots, which is within 25 to 35 seconds. And now it is time to set the 2-cup setting for my grinder. Because 1 cup needs 5.5 seconds to go to 18 grams of coffee beans, so I'm going to just make it about 6 seconds. Maybe that will get me to 20 grams. Let's find out. Okay, it's 20 grams or thereabout. One thing you have to note is that even though you have set your grinder to 1 cup, 2 cup, it is not always precise. So it would still be useful to use a scale each time you want to pull your espresso shots. Unless you're using very, very high quality grinders, then I would suggest that you use a coffee scale every time you measure your ground coffee and also when you pull your espresso shots. Well, that's all I would like to share with you today. If you have any questions about these at all, do let me know. Comment below. I'll see you again for more of these video tutorials. In the meantime, stay safe, take care. Don't forget to check out my books, All Things Milk Tea and The Basic Barista. Details on how to order in the description box below. My book, All Things Milk Tea, is now available in print copy on Amazon, paperback and hardcover. The Barista book will be available very soon, so wait for that. Thank you for watching. Ciao for now.